Oh, hello. Hello. Welcome back and welcome to Blaen y Glyn, where I will put on my walking shoes and we'll go and have a look around. Nice and simple today. Camera with a single lens, Blaen y Glyn down towards Blaen y Glyn, a regular haunt, and I'm going to look for about half a dozen images. So I will be very selective, but join me for this walk. Of course, whether I manage to be very selective is another issue, but let's continue. As always, it's a lovely bit of countryside. The sun is just coming out, it's the middle of the day. There's a trickle of water falling over the edge, hunting those compositions. I think what I'll do in this vlog is take you on the walk and put a gallery of photos at the end. Perhaps I'll talk you through any compositions I choose to try and capture, but let's enjoy the walk. With the sun coming up, there's now some nice light cutting through. I must resist any archways I see. I've done enough of those recently. That's a pretty tall foxglove still, and half a dozen flowers at the top end. As always, get the first image in. I think there will be a splash of colour on a dark background as they move around. It's the 100 to 400 zoom lens, so I'll be looking for intimate scenes on this walk. We'll get through the pine first. Follow the track down, that will lead us to the lower valley sides where we have the Welsh oak and the waterfall and cascades. Not thinking of doing waterfalls today, although they may have to feature in some of the images. Looking for more intimate woodland scenes, but we'll see how it goes. Right, getting towards the end of the first section, and this is where the transition from the pine to the indigenous woodlands will happen, and that's where we'll start hunting down some compositions. Fingers crossed. But before that, I've just spotted these fern with a bit of sunlight falling on the water, and that could be quite interesting, something like that. Right, first stop, and we're above the main fall. And we'll have a scout around here for a few moments. See if we can find a composition. Like under that oak tree there, or down over the falls there. This is where an iPhone comes in quite handy just for scouting images. So we're in there, trickle of falls, nice tree behind, a few green rocks. There we are, somewhere in there, try for the first image. Just negotiated the stepping stones, which when you're carrying the big camera is never easy. It throws you off balance. Anyway, on we go. Now we're in amongst the Welsh oak on this hillside. Photographed on this hillside before. Always an image to be found, but not today. And then we've emerged out into the valley. Talabont on us, down to the left. Lovely. Right, let's try and spot a composition down this path somewhere. Obviously been a bit of overnight rain, which is probably very welcome after the last couple of weeks. Just negotiate a few muddy patches as we wander down. How green is my valley? Sun bursting through there, and summer greens. There's a composition, I'm going to take that one. So just coming down the hill, going down towards the bridge near the waterfall. The fallen oak is still there from my last visit. I think we will head round the left-hand side and follow the river down. I can hear families enjoying themselves in the waterfall, so let's go and have a look at the Woodlands. Sort of sad to see, but it reminds you of how impressive these oak trees are. Like that tree has split away and fallen over. What a beast. This is the path leading its way underneath the birch tree there. With some light falling on the birch. I'll make that one of today's compositions. I haven't come for waterfalls, but you know, if a composition presents itself, you may as well take it. I'll take a 3-second iPhone photo so I can make the water silky, and then a couple of more detailed ones on the camera. Moved a bit further away from the falls, I'm not sure, but perhaps in there somewhere. That tree hanging over, waterfall, and some lovely greens. The location of one of my shots of the year, 2024. The fern weren't here then. I'll take the shot. Just have a summer version with a different lens probably, but a summer version of this composition. Having put the 100 to 400 lens on it, I can see that in the summer the ferns here act as a leading line, leading you into that birch. Not as spectacular as last year's, but still a composition worth taking. Spend a few minutes in this section. Sunlight's falling on the water. Perhaps we can use the zoom lens to find some patterns and colours in here. Let's give it a go. Putting the lens on, I can see that there are leaves caught on the weed on the rocks. That might be interesting in there. Single lens challenge is proving quite interesting. The 100 to 400 allow me to zoom in, pick out detail, but in truth some of the wider scenes it's not quite working. That's good. That's the one lens challenge, and it means that you practice away on a certain type of photography. Let's keep going. Welsh rainforest, beautiful under this canopy. I think that's older, isn't it? I think often found in wet, moist spots, but look in there, that's marvellous. Just getting down the bottom end now. We'll cross the bridge there and head back up the other side, I think, back up to the waterfall, but on the other side of the river. And well, before I go to the bridge, perhaps a final composition in there. I've been trying to pick out just 5 or 6 compositions in this section. Really is a beautiful bit of summer woodland there. I know it's very green, but it's nice to add to the collection. I think there's a nice shot in there. The path with the branches arching over. If I just choose the right focal length, I'll have a go at that one. Right, a drink and a snack and 5 minutes by the riverside before we head back up the other side of the river. We've reached Isav, lower, so let's head back to Icha, higher. A little bit of work taking place since my last visit to open up some picnic tables by the look of it. That's nice. If you've watched me previously, you'll have seen videos from here, just walking up the other side of the river now. But if I've got 2 or 3 hours to spare, This is one of my favourite spots. All year round there's variety and there are always compositions to be found. Let's keep going. And here's an example. I've probably walked this path 20 or 30 times, but never realised how the peak pops out above the trees there and with the colours on the path. Yep, I'm taking that image. Back towards the conifers where we first started. The conifers up the hillside mark the return to the car. Let's see what we can find. Puffing and panting on the way back up. Getting the steps in. But a lovely bit of shade. We'll ignore the flies and midges. And I can see some silver birch. Possible image, we'll see. All we have to do now is make the final climb back up to the car park, so I'll leave it there. It was Blaen y Glyn Uchaf, down to Isaf, and now back up to Uchaf. This week I'm putting the gallery at the end. A selection of images from this walk, which I hope you enjoyed. So Tantra Nessa, until next time, bye for now.